LeBron James all the way in.
And here comes Simmons the other way, 3-on-2. Simmons eludes the defender and lays it in with that. Certainly the length altered that shot. Out of the window, steps and crunches.
Play right there. Porzingis from Jennings, throw down and a foul.
Irving, splits the defense with the dribble. Oh,
Karl Anthony Towns, all right, side note. All right, Karl Anthony Towns is bumming me out right now.
Really?
Yeah. I think he's underperforming in a big way. Defensively, he's a liability. He doesn't get stops at all. I don't know how much of their games you've watched, but good Lord, this guy he's not playing very good defense. In my opinion, they should be a lot better considering the people they have, how good he is offensively. If he could be even half the defensive player that he is on the offensive side of the ball, he's kind of a liability. I like Karl Anthony Towns. If he gets his defense together, he could, he could come into that conversation as the next, great in the game. But
I mean, if we're comparing Joel Embiid and Karl Anthony Towns, I don't think it's that far off in terms of defensive-wise. I mean, obviously, Joel Embiid averages more blocks with 2.3 compared to Karl Anthony Towns' 1.6. I just think now Karl Anthony Towns is in this situation with Tom Thibodeau as the coach now, who's a more defensive-heavy coach. So I think we'll see a little bit of a shift from Karl Anthony Towns. He's still averaging 21 a game, which is good. Or at least in his career, he's averaging 20.8 now.
yeah.
He's still averaging about his career in field goals and field goal 3 percentage, and has actually increased his free throw percentage. So I think, honestly, I don't think he's underperforming. I think we're underrating him.
I think we're overrating him, personally. I think he should. I personally think he should be better. Like, I think based on his skill set, he should be scoring more points. Like I said, defensively, he needs to get his stats up.
But that all comes down to the coaching style. I mean, obviously, offense is not Tom Thibodeau's specialty.
Yeah.
But I think you're looking more at Jimmy Butler's, your Jeff Teagues. You're looking at those guys to score more of your points. Mm-hmm. And I feel like that's what we're getting from Jimmy Butler himself. Let me check his stats real quick as I just completely did not prepare for this.
Well, this is an impromptu Karl Anthony Towns discussion.
That is true.
I've just been thinking about it a lot. Like, I've tried to watch a lot of their games, see him on the court and see what he's doing. Because, like, when it comes down to it, he's the best player on their team.
Right.
And he needs to be the guy for their team. But they can't – I don't think they can win in the playoffs with the defense he plays. I think he needs to be a lot better.
I don't know. I think I like him really well. I mean, he's averaging the most points on the team. Jimmy Butler's only averaging 16 this season on 42% shooting, which is average.
It's average.
In the NBA with 35, which is also around the average because 33 is, I think, what everyone shoots around for three-pointers. So, I mean, I don't know, man. Maybe we're seeing a different shift with this team, but I still think that Karl Anthony Towns is underrated in some aspects because, we've been hyping up the Greek Freak. We've been hyping up Porzingis. We've been hyping up other people. And I think Karl Anthony Towns is doing his thing. Honestly, yeah. I think he is doing his thing. Offensively, he's doing all right. Maybe not all right. He's doing good because 21 points, still pretty good to average in today's NBA, especially on a good team.
Yeah.
And although his blocks aren't what they are, he's still good enough to where I think he's going to do some damage in the NBA.
Okay. I mean, he most certainly is. He's well above an average player. He's definitely in the top, 5 in his position. But what I'll say about this, the last thing I want to say about Karl Anthony Towns is he should be in that discussion. There's a reason we're talking about Giannis and Porzingis and Embiid because they're dominating. Karl Anthony Towns has all the skill set, physically and just talent-wise he should be at the top of that conversation, really. And especially with the team he has around him, he should be at the top of the conversation. And that's why I feel like he's underperforming. Like, he should be in that conversation too. I don't think we're underrating him. I just think those guys are outperforming him on a night-in, night-out basis. And he's on a good team, but like if you look at their stats, it's kind of weird. Where they're like their point differential, they have like a negative point differential and they have a winning record. Mm-hmm. So they're getting blown out in losses and they're winning very close in the games they do win. So it's kind of a bizarre statistical season so far for them. So they need to get it together a bit. And like what it boils down to, like I said, is for a lot of them, their defense needs to. Tom Thibodeau is not coaching a lot like Tom Thibodeau right now, as far as the defense is concerned. Maybe he is. Maybe they're just not taking to it like a fish takes to water. Maybe they need a little bit more time with his system. Because then, like, some of them have some really bad games. Like, I've seen it. I watched Jimmy Butler a couple nights ago. I can't even remember which game it was, but he did not play very well. And I think that's kind of just the learning process of them all playing together, too. But it's coming together. They're winning games, which I guess they still have their winning record. So I guess that's all that matters in the end of the day.
I mean, they're 10-6, third in the West so far.
Oh, it's good. I'm not saying they're bad, but I'm just saying.
I just think you're underrating him hella here because I think this team is actually really good. It's more you're spreading the points out evenly. I think the thing we get caught up in, especially with Porzingis and Giannis, is that they're putting up freak-like numbers.
Oh, I don't think Karl Anthony Towns is ever going to put up 30 numbers with 30 points per game with Jimmy Butler on his team. That's not my point. I really just do think I'm not underrating him. I really think he has the talent to be the best of all of them. I just don't think he's performing as well as he could, is my point.
I just think his stats are spread out evenly. He's not focused on one area in particular. He's almost like a Kawhi Leonard to me in terms of he's quiet. He lets his play do the talking. Of course, he has his Slim Jim commercials with Bigfoot. But other than that, I don't really see him, as charismatic as the other guys because, Greek Freak is he's more of like the shy guy. You got Joel Embiid, who's more of the loud, I would say more charismatic of all of the guys here that we're talking about. But I think Karl Anthony Towns is doing what he needs to do right now. I think it's only his third season. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Just like the rest of them. I just think the 76ers get a little bit more hype because of all the first-round picks that they've gotten on their teams. And I think that's what I'm seeing here, honestly, is I'm seeing all these first-round guys that they drafted. Everyone's infatuated with the draft because it's a sign of hope. It's a sign of things to come for teams like the 76ers who have been bad throughout, years before. Mm-hmm. And now they're finally getting good again, so everyone's hyped about it. And that's why we're talking about it more. But I still think the Timberwolves deserve the credit. They're a hard, grinding team because it's a Tom Thibodeau coach team. Although he does sometimes run his players to the ground where they get to a point of injury, which I don't like to see from that. I wish Tom Thibodeau, I think he's changed a little bit this year, but I still don't like the fact that we're running players to the ground so they're not able to compete in crucial big games. But I think the Timberwolves are actually playing really well. The rest of the